In today's video, I'm going to review to you how to build a top offense in Madden 26 without any abilities, without any RPOs, runs, any of the bullshit. So we'll jump straight into it. And also just some really contrarian takes on offense. So I guess like a really big belief I've always had that really few people would agree with me on is I actually don't think you need like a cover 3, a bomb, a cover 4 bomb. I think what is far more important than that is being able to beat cover 2 to both sides of the field. And it's going to largely depend on like the structure of where people are aligned pre-snap. And sometimes too, like, you know, maybe you might have some like old school traditional fades, like in doubles. But yeah, we'll get into that. So I think this formation, I'm in the Niners offensive playbook, the empty bunch tight. It was actually a Grandmaster member from the Madden Academy recommended this to me. Again, he saw the 16 spaces, and again, he was able to piece this together on his own. I've actually never gone through this formation. I'd never seen the plays in my life until like the other day. And I was going through this, I'm like, damn, this is actually a really good offense. So again, it's that time of year. I've been running a new offense every week on twitch.tv/MonoGenobi97. Again, you can come and watch me play. And also I stream like my gauntlets. I do the gauntlets on YouTube on this channel as well. And again, I'm in a new offense every week. And I actually legitimately think this is a really good offense, and I could see myself running this because it also has my favorite formation, which is doubles flex. And yeah, you also see why, you know, I like doubles flex over like bunch X nasty. But as you can see, like this is Claire deep. I mean, this is kind of like an old school like bunch play right here, and I guess it's in bunch strong as well. But when you're looking for an offense, I'm really looking for unique differentiated routes, meaning that, you know, what routes does this formation have that no other formation does? You know, there's like 98% of formations in this game. You know, the routes they have, you can easily hot route them on your own. So you're really looking for routes that are both unique and useful. And I'll show you in a second what I mean by routes that are useful. But here, again, there's just so many good plays in this. I actually don't know what to come out in. So again, this is kind of like an old school, like I said, I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself, I definitely don't have like old school like bunch philosophy, but anytime like you can combine old school bunch philosophy with my philosophy, it's actually, that's a really great thing. So, you know, again, most people will tell you that, you know, you need like some sort of like cover 4 bomb, some cover 3 bomb. And one of the best ways, you know, to do those like cover 3, cover 4 bombs is with these unique fades. And this is, you know, going back like 7-8 years in Madden. Like I think Madden 19, they had these type of fades. And the reason these fades are good is, again, they're going to run inside and outside of like those inside quarters. Like the inside quarter, it'll kind of like, the inside quarter is going to kind of guard, it's hard without like a pointer, but kind of like right of the logo. And you know, this fade from Moss is going to run in between like the inside quarter and the outside quarter. Again, it's a lot easier to explain it, like visualize it with the 16 spaces on the Madden Academy. But so we can do something like this. I'm just going to spy my D-line for demonstration. If I don't spy them for demonstration, I'm going to get fucking sacked immediately. So but here you see, like I said, the inside quarter is really designed to play kind of just like left, like, or just like right of like these like hashes right here. Whereas like this outside fade, it does a really good job of like, it'll get out to the numbers. And since we have and really you got to think about it, like some people are going to say like, oh, this is like a bullshit play or whatever. You shouldn't be able to do that. Really, it's just like numbers. So again, I have 3 people going vertically, starting on the right half of the field, and they have 2 people vertically on the right half of the field. So that's why this works. Again, really unique fade, gets out to the numbers. And again, 26 has to say, okay, this guy's going vertically. I got to watch out for him. And that's what opens up this fade right here. So again, it's actually really hard to run cover 4 versus. Now, the reason I really liked it, and again, that's just a great foundational play. This also, again, this is going to work for us like cover 3, cover 2 as well. But again, kind of like my philosophy on the game and kind of like what differs me from like, you know, I guess more like standard, like old school, like what I call like what I mean by like old school bunch philosophy. It's like, okay, you got to block the blitz. You got to have like one play touchdown bombs. There's like every defense, and it's kind of like permeated through the community. Me, I always feel like as the risk moves up off, like if you take like a scale 1 to 10, with 1 being, there's absolutely no risk in passing, and 10 being there's absolute insane risk. I feel like my philosophy definitely favors as you move up the risk scale. It makes more sense. Like I think if it's like a coverage-based game, like old school bunch philosophy is really good. I guess the downside of like kind of old school bunch philosophy is once you start kind of getting that type of philosophy and that like school of thought like under pressure, and the risk starts rising, it doesn't really start to make too much sense. And Madden 26 is kind of in that weird spot where it's not like 10 out of 10 offensive risk where there's like an unblockable blitz running free every play. Like that would be like a 10 out of 10 risk on the scale, versus maybe like the last generation of Madden, which I consider to be like a huge drop off in like offensive play. Also a really contrarian take, but I would say like from Madden 19 to like Madden 21, and a little bit beyond that, I kind of stopped playing a little bit in Madden 22, but it was like really easy to block blitzes. The pass pro has advanced a lot. So it was really easy, it made a lot of sense to do these like one play touchdowns. I think now with like switch stick, it's kind of like in a weird spot where you're kind of in that spot where you can still kind of come out and call like what mainstream Madden calls like everything beaters. Don't necessarily believe in that. But I actually think it is something that is useful when there isn't like too much risk involved in offense. And like I said, when you have 4 or 5 seconds to pass in the pocket, it is true to an extent that you can start kind of putting any type of plays in the field. Not any type of plays, but as long as it's like semi-decent, you can kind of get away with it, right? With switch stick, it's kind of weird. I feel like the risk is like at I would say like a 5 out of 10, right? It's still like, I would say like a 4 to 5 out of 10, right? I would say the game's kind of in that spot where, you can still kind of come out and call just kind of anything, just get a semi-decent play out there. The pass rush isn't too good. You have a lot of time. Well, I guess now you got like the X factors and stuff. But also with the switch stick, it's kind of like old school, like I would say like 2 generations ago Madden, where you kind of had these like super elite blitzes. And there was a lot of opportunities to get free touchdowns. So how I always felt like as you like moved up the risk scale, I thought it was like a really fundamental aspect of offense is having the ability to beat cover 2 vertically really fast to both sides of the field. And that's why you actually never see me like I usually don't run traditional bunch. I would say I've at one point, like I would say like Madden 20 DC, I was easily the best bunch player in the world. So I have been like the best, and I feel like in a few different offenses. But when you take an offense like this, so usually like in a bunch X nasty, right? Someone can just kind of come out and like spam cover 2 on like the lone side, and that's like one of the biggest reasons I don't run it. I always feel like you can like reduce, structurally there's nothing, you can be the best play designer in the world. There's nothing you can do if structurally the formation is not able to beat cover 2 to either side of the field, and bunch X nasty, it just cannot. I mean, I guess technically you could like pass it out a fade, but to me, I like this version of bunch. Like I like this like 3x2. If you saw like my Browns gauntlet, you saw me. I was running, I think it was empty bunch X nasty in the Saints. So I actually really like that version of bunch, and the reason I do is because of something like this, where if I do, let's take like a play like this. I'm gonna step up this dig, and I'll do something like this, right? So, like I said, now usually what people do is they'll call something like this, right? And versus like a traditional bunch, and they just like spam cover 2 on this left side. So now like in a formation like this, since the safety is, since I have 2 receivers on the side, like I can just throw it to either of them. So I actually might have just had the streak right there, like just the normal streak I could have just thrown. So yeah, like I said, that's like my second day, like I'm like 1.5 days into running this. But yeah, like I said, this is not like something Like I'm sure I could have like passed this down away, but if not, like I had like the streak wide open as well. Sure, you gotta be watched. You gotta be mindful of the switch stick as well. But to me, this is like I think this is like an improvement in some ways over like a traditional bunch, because you usually can't attack cover two on that side. But yeah, I'll do that one more time. All right, let me actually again let me spy the D line. And again, you can like throw it right there, and again, you're just gonna score a one play touchdown. So that's again, this is why I gravitate towards information like this. That's always been like a fundamental law of offense for me is the ability to be covered two vertically to either half of the field. And then I don't think you actually need like a cover three, cover four bomb beyond that. If you're like if you have like the play calls down right. So what I mean by that is, if we take a play, then if we do something like this, let's see, where is the play that I had? Actually, I might have took it out the odds, but if I do something, so I'm gonna do like a little slant and like a post combo, like it's just a traditional slant post. I'll do it on this. I'm not like a huge fan of this post. That's like the one thing about this formation. Well, I wouldn't say it's like a 10 out of 10 or anything like that. It's like it doesn't have to get any like super elite post. But no bunch really does though. But I would stem this post down once, maybe twice honestly, and I'll do something like this. So versus like a standard cover four, it'd be like really hard to guard like a route combo like this. Like again, the slant just kind of gets open into that space of the field, and then like the logical thing on defense to do is that's when somebody will say, oh shit, I can't like guard this space in the field right here. So like let me put my slot corner into a vert hook right here, and you can kind of start to anticipate that a little bit, especially if I'm playing somebody better. I'll try to kind of like kind of anticipate when they're gonna do that. But again, a play like that, that's what would set you up to do something like this, and like the player art's glitched right now. But yeah, so once they start defending, like they have to like defend the slant play. Again, that's what will open up a play like this down the seam. So that's why I actually really like this. Like I said, I could see myself running like audibling to this formation right here. And then obviously on the bunch side, you can be cover two for a touchdown, and you can kind of play like a similar game over there where they kind of get tired of like you throwing slants in between the purples or stuff like that. Or again, somebody could do something like this, right? If they're like getting tired of the slants, and they'll do like something like this. Now this is where again, how good. Like I said, I also value like the ability to like effectively attack all 16 spaces on the field. And the thing is, this is another thing when you're in a bunch formation, right? It's also going to be a little bit harder to attack like cover three down the seam. Like I said, this is what I mean. Like cover four, you can kind of see like if you can always get them to reduce down their coverage to like a cover two, and then a cover three, and then structurally you just have to be set up, to beat cover two over the top either side, and then obviously you got to time the play call. Another thing about like a more tight formation is since again these guys are aligned in tight. Again, this outside corner is also aligned in tight. First is like a doubles, right? I think I have doubles like an audible too right here. Like I said, this outside corner, he moves now all the way out to like column one. So now it's like a lot scarier to run, just like a cover three shell like this. Because if I did something like this, see now those guys are they're like standing now towards like the outside of the numbers, just based on where my receivers are positioned pre-play. So if I were to do something like this, again, it'd just be super scary. Because what people will do is they will switch stick onto their safety and try to play both. But for it's like a formation like doubles, where your receivers are starting out in what I call like column one or outside the numbers, again, it's a lot harder to run like a coverage shell like this. Versus, so if I go back to this empty bunch tight, again, I'll run that same cover three shell. And notice again, now like before Hayes was standing like right here, right? Now he's standing just based on the formation. He's standing right here. So now these seam passes are going to be a lot scarier. And same thing with like this. When I was in doubles, this guy was like out here. Now he's standing right here. So this is why this is a pretty good coverage shell versus like a tight formation. It's like a structural limitation in the formation itself. So I'll try to replicate a play similar. Again, it still might get open, but it's gonna be like a lot. It's gonna be like a lot tighter of a pass. So I'll do something like this. Do something like this. So before like triangle is just like the easiest pass ever, right? And doubles. Now it's like a super tight pass. So just where people are standing pre-snap on offense dictates a lot like what makes a good offense and how effectively you can attack certain spaces on the field. And again, it's a really contrarian. It's not something that's talked about a lot in mainstream Madden. I think the reason is too, I started playing like competitively when I was like, 14, 15, like 13 years old. And, the meta was just really, like, I came from like people were just running free every fucking play. Like blitzers are just running free. I don't know if you can cuss on YouTube. I don't really care. But, so I feel the game a lot differently than someone that, started playing in maybe like Madden 19, Madden 20, where, the pass pro tools have like advanced a lot in the game, making it really, I think, a lot easier to pass. I think that, I think the average time to pass dictates, how easy or how hard an offense, a game is more so than anything, whether like, zones, movement, anything like that. So, but that's kind of why, I'll have some I'm going to have some really different views on the game than, what most people will say. But, I try to like intermix them. That's why you'll see me running like Bunch X Nasty at the end of the year. Like I said, I'll run like just about every single offense. So I'll just try to like connect the dots in between all of them. But again, hopefully this was helpful. Again, if you want to learn more about the mental aspects over like meta aspects of the game, again, head over to the maddenacademy.com. You can get started on your free course over there. And I'm out.